Welcome to this SwiftPoint Z2 tutorial. In this video, we'll show you how to swap out and change the scroll wheel PCB board of your SwiftPoint Z2. Before we begin, you'll need the following items: a magnetic screwdriver set, and a new scroll wheel PCB, and of course, your SwiftPoint Z2 mouse. First and most importantly, please make sure your SwiftPoint Z2 is unplugged. Next up, remove the magnetic feet from the base of your mouse. You'll either have the tilt feet attached or the lockout feet, whichever ones you prefer. So just simply remove those and place them down on the desk. Next up, carefully peel off the sticker at the top of the Z2's base, which showcases the tilt angles. If you wish to not remove the sticker, you can locate the two holes at the top of the base and push your screwdriver through the sticker to pierce a hole. But we do recommend, for ease, carefully removing the sticker so to allow you to reapply the sticker when you've finished the following process. Now it's time to unscrew all 7 screws from the base of the SwiftPoint Z2 and place them somewhere safe. Pro tip here, use the magnets on the underside of the Z2's tilt and or lockout feet to catch or store all of the 7 screws when you've loosened them from the base. Okay, so we're now ready to gently lift the top shell of the Z2 off, but be careful not to damage the 2 ribbon cables that are underneath the top shell, connecting the top shell and the multiple PCB boards together. To detach the scroll wheel PCB board ribbon cable, open the tabs on both sides of the white connector and very carefully pull out the ribbon cable. Now, there are 6 screws that holds the scroll wheel PCB board down that you will have to remove. And once you've removed those 6 screws, gently lift the scroll wheel PCB board while holding the scroll wheel. Slowly remove the old scroll wheel from the encoder and place that to the side. Okay, so it's now time to take your new PCB board and place that inside of the shell of the SwiftPoint Z2 or the classic grip mouse that you are working with. If you have the latest version of the SwiftPoint Z2 that has the plastic top cover over the top of the middle click button, this is now the time to place that back on to the middle click button. Insert the scroll wheel into the encoder of the scroll wheel PCB board, then gently put your new scroll wheel and scroll wheel PCB board back into your SwiftPoint Z2 or classic grip mouse that you are working with, and gently press it down. You might have to give it a little wiggle every now and then just to seat it back inside of the shell, just like so. And once you've got the scroll wheel and the PCB board seated inside of the SwiftPoint Z2 shell, it's now a good time to give the scroll wheel a good scroll back and forth, maybe a little bit of a side-to-side action and a few clicks as well, just to make sure that it feels good and that it is seated properly inside of the shell of the SwiftPoint Z2. And so it is now time to reconnect the ribbon cable into the white connector, and then make sure that you close those 2 black tabs on either side of the white connector, just like so. So simply grab the ribbon cable, place it into the PCB board and the connector itself. Now please be careful with this because you do not want to break the ribbon cable. And once it is in, just simply press those 2 black tabs on either side of the ribbon cable inwards, and you'll feel a nice click, and then you know that the ribbon cable is now secured into the scroll wheel PCB board. And the next step is to reinsert the 6 silver screws that hold the scroll wheel PCB board down. But top tip here, please do not over tighten these screws. Get them to the point where you just start to feel resistance and then stop tightening. So once you've inserted all of the screws back into the scroll wheel PCB board, we recommend doing a little test just to make sure that the scroll wheel PCB board is seated nicely inside of the shell and there is no movement or extra flex on the scroll wheel PCB board. Of course, you want a little bit of flex, but you don't want a huge amount of flex, because otherwise you'll be pressing down and you most likely won't be activating the middle click button and or the left or right click button. So as you can see here, I've got quite a decent bit of flex on the right hand side of the PCB board, which will be for my right click. So I'm going to come back over and I'm going to tighten up this top screw just a little bit more, and the one next to it on the left hand side as well. And we can also, for good measure, come down and tighten up this one down here in the bottom right hand corner too. But as mentioned, we don't want to over tighten this. We do want a little bit of flex, but we don't want a huge amount of movement. So that's heaps better now, which is fantastic. Okay, so moving along, you will most likely have seen that the PCB board for the fan buttons has fallen out of its two little slots and its holders in there. So simply pick that back up and place the PCB board for the fan buttons back into its housing. Give that a good press down. Make sure it's in there nice and securely. And now it is time to place the top shell back on to the top of the SwiftPoint Z2 or the Classic Grip mouse that you are working with. Now be careful here not to pull or push on any of the ribbon cables. We want to get the top shell lined up nice and easily on the Z2's shell, and give it a press down across the whole of the mouse, and give it a check over as well, because you don't want to see any visible gaps anywhere in the Z2's shell or the body, making sure and confirming that the Z2 shell is nice and secure onto the base of the SwiftPoint Z2. And once you are happy with that, it's now time to flip the Z2 back over, or the Classic Grip mouse that you are working on, and reinsert the 7 screws that we removed from the base earlier on. Alright, so once all of the 7 screws are placed back into the base of the SwiftPoint Z2 or the Classic Grip mouse that you are working with, it is now time to reapply the sticker. If you removed the sticker earlier on in the video and you wish to put it back on, it is now time to reapply. Once again, we recommend that you don't put the sticker back on, because once you've taken it off, the edges do start to curl and it will catch on your mouse mat and make for a not very nice experience whilst using your SwiftPoint Z2 Creator or Tracer. So once you're happy and you're ready to finish off the process just a little bit more, it's now time to reapply the magnetic feet to your Classic Grip mouse. Now, of course, we had our tilt feet placed on earlier, so we're just going to reapply those tilt feet back onto our SwiftPoint Z2 here, just like so. Once you've reattached your feet to the SwiftPoint Z2 or the Classic Grip mouse you are working with, it is now time to place it back on your desk or bench, and of course plug it into your computer to make sure that the RGB light turns on and your SwiftPoint Z2 is up and running once again. And it's also a great time to go around and just triple check that everything is feeling good, that your clicks are working, your left click is working, your right click is working, and all of the other buttons are activating as well. You can do that either within the X1 control panel or in a piece of software that you are in, or of course loading into a game and just triple checking that everything is working all good. And one other thing to check as well is to make sure that your OLED display screen is showing and displaying the profile and or the config mode if you lift it up high enough. Okay, so there we have it. That is the overview of how to change and swap out the scroll wheel PCB board for the original SwiftPoint Z, the Z2 Creator or Tracer. And as always, if you have any other questions regarding this process pre, during or post, then please reach out to us via our support line on support@swiftpoint.com.